Hi everyone. So in this video, I'm talking about what you need to do to move on from your writing plan to your actual rough draft. So the first step, the most important step for beginning to work on your rough draft is to go back and look at the comments that I made on your writing plan, right? I spend a lot of time making specific comments on there. I want to make sure that you go back and look at those, right? Some of you I might have given a one because I really wanted you to go back and look at them. I mean, everybody I want to go back, but I really wanted to make sure, really wanted to get your attention by giving you a one. And if you got a one, it simply means that I want you to go and look at it. And acknowledge my comments there. If I said something like "see me," then you'll need to, send me an email so that we can set up a phone meeting. But just go through and acknowledge those comments, and then I'll change your grade, right? A one, again, a one doesn't mean that that's your actual grade. It just means I want to get your attention, and so you'll need to contact me in some way in order to be able to change that score from a one to the full 25 points. So that's one of the first things to do. Make sure to look at your at my comments on your writing plan. Another important thing to do is to go back and look at the comments that I've made on the discussion boards. And so if they're in the brainstorming discussion boards, I made some very specific comments there. What I had you doing in that brainstorming discussion board is thinking about what potential theses might be, and I gave you some specific comments for the ones that you put in there, right? And so go back and look at the ones the comments I might have made on your post on the brainstorming discussion board, and also at the comments I've made on other people's posts. So look at all of those to give you a sense of what I'm looking for. One of the biggest problems I'm having, and this is when I say it's a problem, this is a predictable problem. This is something that happens all the time, that we need to talk about, is to making sure that your thesis is going to be specific enough. So a lot of students have issues doing that. It's difficult to do that, and so a lot of the theses aren't as specific, and that's a lot of the comments that I made on the discussion board. It's also a lot of the comments that I would have put on your writing plan. So again, just to review, if you look at this example here that I have for the sample writing plan, in the Latin Deli, Judith Ortiz Cofer uses metaphorical language to show us how homesick the people who come to the deli are and how deeply they're longing for the places that they have left. What I was getting for a lot of your writing plans and discussion boards were things like in the Latin Deli, Judith Ortiz Cofer uses metaphorical language to show us how the people feel, right? Which is much more vague, right? How is it that they feel? Can define what that is, right? Obviously, they weren't writing about the Latin Deli because you can't, but they were saying something along the lines of, in Dothead, the poet wants to tell us how the narrator feels. A lot of things I was getting things like in What It's Like to Be a Black Girl, she talks about how difficult it is growing up being black in the society, which is perfectly true. But it's really broad because she's talking about something very specific. There's a very specific set of concerns that she has in that poem that you want to address, right? It's difficult for her for very specific reasons. That is, it's not she's not talking about how difficult it is because people don't think she's smart. It's not that she's talking about how difficult it is because she finds that she's not able to get good employment. Those aren't the issues that she's talking about there. There are other very specific issues in there, and you need to be very specific in your thesis. So think about what I have here that I've gotten, that this is much more specific, and see how you want to make yours more specific. The next issue, of course, is that to look at the topic sentences, make sure that the topic sentences clearly relate back to the thesis. And so that's another comment that I might be making. Okay. You can see I said in here, it says homesick, homesick, right? So you know that these two things are related. I said I was going to talk about homesickness. If you look in the topic sentence, it says homesickness. Sometimes students don't want to do that because they feel like, well, aren't I being redundant? I'm just repeating what I'm saying. No, you said you're going to talk about it. You're going to talk about it. Okay. that's not redundant at all. So you are telling us a very specific aspect of it. That is, I'm saying in general, let's talk about the homesickness, and down here I'm talking about the metaphors associated specifically with food. So I'm defining that very specifically, and then making sure that your quotes actually fit in. I said I'm just going to talk about food. Do these things all mention food? And so when I look at the quotes that you have for your body paragraphs, I'm going to say, wait, you said you were going to talk about, your topic sentence said you're going to talk about these particular issues, but I don't see how this particular quote relates to that. And so you want to go through and just make those kinds of changes to make sure that you are consistently talking about the same idea throughout. And of course, it should go without saying, but of course, if you have any questions about any of this, if you look at your writing plan, you look at the comments that I make on your writing plan, and you're not sure about what to do next, send me an email, call me during my office hours, and then we can go ahead and discuss that. So I just want to give you that general idea. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention, just make sure that when you are actually filling in your paragraphs, think about what you were doing in those first El Oviedo paragraphs. I did not give you that assignment accidentally. I was wanting you to build up the sense of how you're supposed to construct a paragraph. How is it that you've got a clear topic sentence, and how is it that you use quotes to support that topic sentence? Because that's all you're doing in each of these body paragraphs. So go back and look at that assignment, see how you did that. If you had some issues with that, that's something you want to be aware of, so that you're not making the same mistakes here that you made in the Oviedo paragraph. And again, of course, if you have any questions about that, make sure to let me know. Send me an email, call me during my office hours, and then we can talk about that. So look at all that, and then you've got some time to go ahead and work on your rough draft and get that submitted.